Welcome to the Theory of Everything. We all love to enjoy popular culture as it is, but most of the time, many of us miss the deeper meaning or even an Easter egg that lies in a plain sight. In this program, we will guide you to various content you find yourself liking, but secretly heavy with dark facts and theory that you might enjoy it even more. First, let's visit one of the biggest Disney hits of all time. Back in 2013, Frozen took us in a storm, literally and figuratively. Children went crazy about it, and adults pretty much enjoy it. But did you know that this animated movie is based on a fairy tale written by Hans Christian Andersen titled Snow Queen? Like many other fairy tales by Andersen, Snow Queen is quite dark for a children's story to say the least. The Snow Queen herself is depicted as a wicked and evil character. And the book itself is full with angel, demon, and even the devil himself. But of course, when Disney tried to adapt it all, those elements vanished to fit for a much wider audience. Aside to adapting it to be more friendly, Disney was also praised by break the tradition in its representation of love. Frozen was the first Disney princess movie that no longer fit us with the concept of true love between male and female, but instead a love between siblings that at the end defeat the curse. This notion was followed suit by Maleficent the very next year. Well done, Disney! Another thing that fans love about Frozen is that this progressive Disney princess is full of hints, Easter eggs, and of course, conspiracy theory. One of the most famous theory was that when Elsa and Anna's parents went missing in their ship journey, some fans believe that their ship was sunk somewhere in the middle of the ocean and appeared in another Disney princess's backyard. Although Ariel produced long way before Frozen, but some fans never tired to desperately find a hint that all of these princesses would live in the same parallel universe. This theory came to the surface particularly when they rewatched the scene of Ariel wandering around and found a shipwreck that resembled the ship that Elsa's parents was aboard. See the similarity? Sadly, this theory was debunked when one of the authors made a statement that Elsa and Anna's parents were survived the shipwreck and managed to land in some sort of land near a friendly gorilla community. But this led to another fan's theory about none other but Tarzan. Yes, the theory that Tarzan was a long-lost sibling of Elsa and Anna was confirmed. But neither Disney nor the author were keen to follow this up in the sequel. Frozen popularity was stretched wide among children and adults alike. But you know what? We are not alone. Because there was one particular scene that proved Elsa and Anna was popular in their universe too. We were all miss it, but some watchful eyes out there was not. In one of the earlier scenes when Arendelle opened its door for the first time after so many years for Elsa's coronation day, we had a glimpse of few other Disney princesses. There's Rapunzel and Flynn from movie Tangled, and there's Tiana from The Princess and the Frog, and even a flash brief of Aurora from The Sleeping Beauty. This proved that Elsa and Anna was famous among the other princesses. Or is it just a coincidence? One theory that backed up the appearance of these princesses was that the accident of Anna's parents in the ocean was to attend the wedding of either Rapunzel or Tiana.
Family. Did Rapunzel and I ever get married? Well, I'm pleased to tell you that after years and years...
But mostly fans believe it was Rapunzel, because another theory was also came to the surface that Rapunzel was related to Elsa and Anna. Audience didn't fail to notice the similarity between both of their parents. This led to speculation that Rapunzel might be a cousin or a distant cousin of the Frozen sisters. Nowadays, there's no content widely accepted without being criticized. And Frozen was not immune to one. One of the highlights of the backlash was the twist ending when Prince Hans apparently has more than meet the eye. Prince Hans breaking bad from lovable and warm personality was pointed out as nonsense and out of the blue, something that Game of Thrones fans was felt deep inside their heart. This disappointment led fans to throwing the torch to another figure in the movie that much more suited to be suspected. You wonder who that might be?
Let me see. Bright eyes, working nose, strong teeth. Yes.
Well, some say that the troll's a cute stone preacher who loves singing along and rolling around was the one to blame. Fans accused that it was the trolls who enchanted Prince Hans to become evil in favor for Kristoff. What do you think about this accusation? Are you Team Hans or Team Trolls? And what do you think of Elsa and Anna's parenting method? Did you agree that the best way to provide a healthy environment for your child was to separate them apart without explanation? Some says they are horrible parents, but some says they just are confused parents who feared their child being branded as monster by society. And considering this story based on an era before 19th century, maybe their fear is quite acceptable. But this is just theory and opinion. It's all up to you, wise audience, to digest this amazing movie on your own wisdom. So do you think you enjoy Frozen more, knowing all this treasure behind the surface and theory? Let us know with your feedback. Welcome back to Theory of Everything. Have you ever watched a movie and enjoyed it so much, but deep down you can't help but wonder what it meant? Or have you chuckled at scenes in a movie that intrigue a relation with other things you're familiar with? Well, we're here for you! In this program, we will take you to many popular culture which is heavy with meaning, or even suggestion that you might find it shock to realize at first. Let's flash back to one of the genius movie ever made, Forrest Gump.
Tom Hanks.
I'm not a smart man.
Robin Wright.
Will you marry me? I'd make a good husband, Jenny.
Forrest Gump is a 1994 film starring American sweetheart Tom Hanks, a story about a unique individual named Forrest Gump who, despite his disability, has managed to inspire and warm everyone's heart through his ability to always find a positivity in every situation, and also through his simple and distinguished life approach. But while we enjoyed the heartfelt story, we couldn't help but notice a massive Easter eggs that hinted here and there throughout the movie. How can we forget that he held a paper with familiar logo on it while he narrated that his friend Lieutenant Dan has invested his money in a fruit company? But of course, we all know that it wasn't a fruit company, but the most progressive tech company we know and love today, Apple. He also inspired many popular products that we recognize today. In one of the running scenes, Forrest has been approached by some guy who shared his struggle about his t-shirt business. He handed yellow t-shirt, which later Forrest used to wipe his face.
Here, use this one. Nobody likes that color anyway.
Have a nice day.
We can see that the stain left in the t-shirt was form of a famous smiley face. Nowadays, who hasn't known the image? No wonder the guy said he might get rich, which was true. This movie also pictured Forrest as an inventor or some sort of inspiration of a modern and popular slang.
What, shit? Sometimes.
A scene when we watch as Forrest approached by a guy who complained when he almost stepped onto some dog exits on the street, which was Forrest commented that it happens sometimes. And we of course applaud Forrest for being an inspiration behind the King of Rock Elvis Presley move.
You ain't nothing
But the richness of the film, which has 13 Oscar nominations and 6 wins, wasn't stopped there.
And the Oscar goes to Forrest Gump, Wendy Fitterman, Steve Tisch, and Steve Stocky, producers.
As it was depicted as an American modern myth, Forrest Gump was also a movie that insanely funny yet deep. Some critics said that Forrest Gump was America's spirit. And it showed in how Forrest's life has interwoven with many major historical events between 1950s to 1980s. The director Robert Zemeckis even inserted Forrest into real archival footage as a representation that Forrest's journey was indeed America's journey. From a tumultuous conflict of civil rights in 1960s, various news about US President assassination attempt to Black Panther Party meeting. Black Panther Party was a political organization to challenge police brutality against the African American community.
Sorry I had a fight in the middle of your Black Panther Party.
Forrest was also highlighted 3 America's presidents who mark America with their signature: John F. Kennedy, and then his successor Lyndon B. Johnson, and Richard Nixon. Forrest presented JFK as a president who defended civil rights and equality for African American citizens. His death and his brother's death was narrated by Forrest as Americans mourn this tragedy. Forrest also appeared as a catalyst to a scandal that shook America in 1972. A scandal that brought down President Richard Nixon into the mud, known as Watergate scandal. The description of Forrest's influence in this scandal appears silly and hilarious, as he was only report his suspicion towards some activity he overseen throughout his window. But not only that, he also apparently was a catalyst of John Lennon's masterpiece song, Imagine.
People hardly got nothing at all.
No possessions?
And in China, they never go to church.
No religion too?
Hard to imagine.
What appeared to be captivating about Forrest Gump as a person is that he has the ability to overcome his disability like low IQ, crooked spine, and the lack of father figure to achieve many greatness. And one of his greatness portrayed as he single-handedly opened a relation between America and China with ping pong. Aside as a touching story that served figuratively as journey of America's spirit, the film was also served as critic for one of America's war effort in Vietnam. Even as far as served his country by going to Vietnam, he also acknowledged that he has no clue about what was they fighting for, a statement that many people believe and later acknowledge as a mistake.
Are familiar with the acquired immune deficiency syndrome.
In one of the final scenes, this movie also paying tribute to another wave of an era that hit the world around 1980s. The rise of a rare disease caused by a virus that has no cure until now, AIDS. As Jenny, Forrest's true love, died from the disease. Forrest Gump might just be a movie, but it loaded with full length of history as rich as America's history. And it will forever be known as one of the best films ever made. But maybe you all want to ask, where is a hint about a certain restaurant which serves shrimp in its menu? Well, it wasn't there, because they say the restaurant was the one who actually inspired by the movie. A year after the movie hit the theater, a few businessmen opened up a chain restaurant named by the company that owned by Forrest Gump and Lieutenant and Dan. So, do you feel any kind of craving for some shrimp now? Or you want to rewatch this masterpiece to discover the Easter eggs by yourself? Well, either way, enjoy! Welcome back to Theory of Everything, when we will break down some dark truth, hidden meaning, secret, and even conspiracy theory behind everything we consume every day. Whether it's songs, movies, cartoons, games, comic books, and even the consumer goods you lay eyes on every day. Have you ever appreciated the things you hold in your hand every single day are full with rich story and a deeper meaning than meet the eyes? From your morning coffee to your favorite cell phone, from the devices you use to help your work to your clothes you wear to the office, or even to your guilty treat you took when you were heartbroken? Today, we want to shock you from your deep slumber to make you realize that every day you are witness to some genius masterpieces behind logos of things around you without being noticed. We all are familiar with the term "don't judge book by its cover," don't we? But for the consumer goods product, the term has lost its meaning. Because when it comes to logos, it means much more than just a cover. Logos often represent mission and value of the product, but sometimes it holds secrets most never learn about. So, this is a hidden meaning or facts behind some of the most famous logo in the world. The mysterious apple pie. In 1977, two Steves met and worked together to build a progressive tech company we know today. Their logo is a simple apple, beaten in clean and minimalist color. The story about why they choose to name their company Apple are still interesting to talk about. Apple is known as a fruit of knowledge in biblical story, but also a catalyst to Newton's theory about gravity. But the story of the logo itself is still clouded with myth, urban legend, and conspiracy theory. Some believe that the bite on the Apple logo was inspired by the father of modern computer, Alan Turing, who spent his life in never-ending trial from being a homosexual and has to end his life by eating an apple full of cyanide. Some also say that's why the first era of Apple logo contained rainbow color to represent the tolerance for the LGBT community. But of course, it was just a theory. Rob Janoff, the Apple logo designer, said that even though the theory was fun, the truth was more simple. Janoff admitted that the process to create the most well-known logo today were less glamour than people thought. He bought a bags and bags of apple to come with the most ideal shape, and he added the bitten part of the apple to help people recognize it easily. He also realized that the word bite are very similar in pronunciation to byte, the term of measure a unit of digital information. So, the perfect logo has been born. The Mysterious Mermaid of Starbucks. If you ever wonder what on earth the relation between a mermaid and a coffee, well, nothing if you didn't know the story yet. Back in 1970s, two gentlemen who founded the brand was aiming the opportunity to sell high-quality coffee bean in a coffee house that's still very rare at that time. They came up with the name first. As both of them were rooted in advertising business, they were believed that words beginning with S they were powerful. They almost decided that the brand would be called Starbow. Then they were remembered that there's a certain character in the most popular book at the time, Moby Dick, was called Mr. Starbuck. So the name was settled, and their next target was the logo. Due to keeping up with the name of the seafaring adventure novel, they began to search the image of mermaids, and they both were inspired by a twin-tailed siren from 15th century. The logo itself were changing throughout the times. First to appear to be more friendly, the siren image, which first appeared as it is, complete with pear breasts, were changed by covering the breast area with the hair. And the spread twin-tailed, which first shown, then cropped to only appear a little on the side. The logo continued to change as the company thrived. And by 2011, the company even removed the word Starbucks from its logo because the green and white mermaid has already so iconic and popular. The philosophy of Toyota. Nowadays, we recognize Toyota logo everywhere, even when we spotted it from rear window. And that was the part of the genius idea of this logo. The company was founded by Kiichiro Toyoda in 1939 as a spin-off of his father company Toyota. Kiichiro felt that Toyota was more appealing to the ear than Toyota, and it could be written in Japanese in 8 strokes of a pen. And number 8 was to believe in Asian culture as a lucky number that represents wealth and prosperity. And that luck was proven. Toyota has become one of the largest automobile companies famous around the world. But the Alfa logo we know today hasn't been invented until 1989. At the 50th company anniversary, Toyota launched its new logo, which by all means is one of the genius logo ever made. The 3 interlocking oval was representing the value of trust between the company and the customer, and if you look closely, it can spell the brand name perfectly. And the lucky number of 8 is also still there in the plain side. What a genius! The City of Bear in Toblerone. When you're feeling blue or need to cheer up your day, there's nothing better than chocolate. And who never craving for one of the most famous chocolate bar in the world, Toblerone? This uniquely shaped and snappable Swiss chocolate bar has a distinguished taste by containing a sprinkle of nougat in it. And the logo of its company clearly came from the Switzerland mount called the Matterhorn. But have you ever looked closely into the logo? You might never realize it until now, but there is a shape of a bear hidden in the mountain. See it now? Well, thank God, because after this, you will always see it. The appearing of a bear in the logo might seem unlikely at first until you know all the facts. Toblerone was first manufactured in Bern City, which is associated with bear as it's shown in the city coat of arms. The word Toblerone itself, which is a combination of its founder family name Tobler and Italian nougat Tauron, has hired the word Bern to pay tribute for its birthplace city. The beauty of Vaio. You've seen this product before, of course, whether in commercial, movie product placement, or even in your own spacewear. The brand is under the giant tech company Sony, and its logo seems cryptic yet beautiful for the eyes. Vaio itself was originally stood for Video-Audio Integrated Operation, and the logo designer Teiyu Goto said that the V and the A in that insignia was made of an analog sine wave, and the I and O represent the 1 and 0 in Video Digital's binary code. And considering that Vaio first launched as desktop computer back in 1996, their logo was subtly and cleverly represent the product very well, combining 2 computing technology of video audio in a look that lasts long until today. A role of Netflix. Before well known as the biggest streaming service today with over 200 million subscribers around the world, Netflix started as a DVD rental company back in 1997. Its logo were a combination of 2 words net and Flix decorated with a film showreel. And as the technology getting more and more advanced, Netflix shifted their service from DVD delivery to online streaming. Their logo began to change throughout times too, and as Netflix became more prominent among other similar services, Netflix was bold enough to reinvent their logo to just one capital N. But even as big as the brand name became so popular and has been included in the dictionary for the term of people associated with the activity of online watching, it seems that Netflix doesn't forgo its history. As you might miss it with bare eyes, the word N of Netflix was made of a film showreel that came from their humble beginning. It's showing that no matter how high you soar, you must not forget your root. Is there any other logo you're curious about? Give us your feedback and we will make sure to break it down the next time. See you later!